God is good, and with each day that passes brings us a day closer to the launch of Baldur's Gate 3, and I know you can play in early access right now, but I'm talking about full launch here. Anyway guys, so as you probably already know, patch 4 is on its way. Apparently, the best we can get is soon it will be released, and it's the biggest patch of all time. It has a lot, including a new class that you'll be able to play, so and lots of other things. This really is a chunky patch indeed, and we're going to discuss everything that we found out from the Panel from Hell 2 stream, which, by the way, gotta mention, they did a really good job. It was very entertaining. They went way above and beyond to make it something really special and spectacular. Just like, in my opinion, Baldur's Gate 3 Early Access is a very special game. They really kind of put that love and attention to detail, and of course it was full of some hilarious things happening, technical issues, etc., that really honestly just made it that much more endearing. But anyway, we're going to discuss everything that we found out from this panel as quick as possible. Before we begin, I want to give a big shout out to the members of Napalm. Thank you all so very much for your support. You are the sponsors of this channel. I could not do this without you. And if you're interested in becoming a member, please click the join button down below for more information and a list of perks. And a special shout out to my lords of Napalm, Rayco, Bounty Code, and Ray Cooper. Thank you for your highest tier membership. Alright, so we got a lot to cover here, so let's move right through this, guys. So of course, the major highlight was the Druid class is coming to the early access version with patch 4. That's a really big deal, and we'll get more into that in a minute. Now, there was also a very long list of some small but very important and very key changes that are coming to the game, and let's cover those first. First of all, they announced the loaded dice. That's a feature that's going to help balance out some of the more ridiculous situations that may happen with people with dice rolling. So a lot of people have found they just keep rolling natural ones like over and over again, and you know that becomes not fun. Now, me personally, like, that's just up to chance, right? Like, that could happen right there at the tabletop game, and you know, it could also happen in the game. However, if that's just driving you nuts and you just don't want that kind of thing, then you can have the option, it's optional, to turn on loaded dice. Now, this will make it to where it just gives you a little more luck, and it reduces that chance of multiple ones in a row from happening, but it's still possible. It just greatly reduces that chance, and this was apparently something the community really wanted. Also, they did some big changes with Speak with the Dead. So fresh corpses, newly dead corpses can now be talked to with the Speak with the Dead ability, and a lot of them will have dialogue now. So you kill something, talk to it, and tons of them will have dialogue, which is pretty crazy actually. They've also improved the cinematics quite a bit. Now, there are a ton of cinematics in this game, even in its early access form, but they've added new cinematics, and they've also worked with the lighting, and really honestly, from the example they gave of like the new lighting, it looks crazy good. It really actually changes the whole feel of the game. Now, as requested by the community big time was the option to be able to flee, which they are adding that into the game here with patch 4, so that you can run away from battles that you're just getting your butt completely stomped. Now, you have to do it individually. You know, it's not like you just hit flee like it's Final Fantasy VII and everybody runs away. You gotta flee individually. Each person has to leave the battle. They also talked a little bit about people not liking the gargantuan hefty downloads, so they're gonna do their best to try to release things in a more easier to digest and smaller packets in the future. They also announced that they have a new studio opening in Guildford, and that studio's already been doing some work for them, cinematics and other features that are tied into the game, especially animation and that kind of thing. Now, let's talk about this Druid, okay? Because this was the big one. This was the big announcement, was the Druid. Now, they did say it is not an easy class to play. It's going to take some getting used to to get really good with it and really take advantage of everything that it can do. Wild Shape is the ability everybody thinks of when they think of the Druid, which allows you to change into different kinds of animals. Now, in D&D, you know, it's pretty vast what you can change into, right? But this is a video game, so they have to give you options on what you can change into, but they did a really good job, in my opinion. They showed off a badger, which can kind of like go underground and then kind of teleport, so pop back up somewhere else, and you can even use that on a lot of the doors in the game, apparently, to go under them. And also, when you're wild shaped, you'll be able to speak with that, whatever animal you are, with their kin, and they showed off a bear speaking to another bear and talking him into moving out of the way, which just changes a lot of things in the game. You really think about it, like you can avoid certain encounters and stuff like that as well. Now, there are restrictions on the wild shape, of course. Like I said earlier, this isn't the tabletop game, and we're not using our imagination. All these things have to be built into a video game, right? So they can't literally add every animal ever, but there are lots of options here. And they did show off a spider, a bear, a badger, and they also, I'd like to mention, said that they wanted to add a dinosaur in here, but they just said, okay, we got to stop somewhere, and they did not add the dinosaur. But knowing Larian Studios, they'll probably add it later. Also, Good Berry, classic edible item from Dungeons & Dragons, is making its way into the game. It's a magical food item that fills your stomach and heals you. And of course, you cross-class that with the Life Cleric, you can make it even more powerful. And then they showed off some gameplay footage, and, Sven just kind of ran around the world and showed off the Druid, and it was pretty cool. I do highly recommend. It's a super entertaining stream, so if you got the time that you can sit down and watch it all, it's actually a really good watch. Now, they ran into some technical issues during the stream. It happens, right? But the thing about Larian is they somehow seem to always pull it off in a way that it's not annoying, it's more of hilarious and funny and entertaining. And what an entertaining stream, by the way. They went all out, dressed like the characters. They had songs. They were in these really cool environments. They had a live cow that hilariously was knocking off its harness thing. It was a fantastic stream. But the main news, of course, is that the Druid is coming. Of course, I would have personally have preferred that they announced a Paladin, but I think a lot of people in the community was guessing that this was probably would be the Druid, and it's very exciting, right? The Druid a very difficult class to put in a video game and do it correctly, and I do think they did a lot of justice here from what we've seen. Of course, coming soon is patch 4, so we don't know when that is. They said there's a game-breaking bug that they're trying to crush before they release the patch, so that's obviously the smart move to make. Now, you will not be able to bring your save from previous patches into patch 4. It's such a big update that, it's going to wipe that, but there is a solution. So there in the launcher, you can say, no, I want to revert back to the old patch or what have you, so that you can play your old saves. But if you want to be the Druid, etc., and take advantage of all this, you will have to start a new character. That's the way it goes in early access. It is what it is. It doesn't bother me. I think most of us probably already played through several times anyway, so starting over and fresh is not that big of a deal, especially when you have a new class to play. Tell me what you guys think about these updates in the comments down below. Are you excited? This is the biggest news we've had for Baldur's Gate 3 since the initial launch, in my opinion, and I'm looking forward to more and more classes being added to the game. Of course, the Paladin being my number one I can't wait for class. But until then, guys, looks like we're getting a lot of cool updates here with patch 4, and I'm pretty excited about it. But let me know what you think in the comments down below, and of course, help me feed this hungry YouTube algorithm by clicking that like button and smashing subscribe. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. I think it's possible to do it by sometime in March, so please help me on that journey. And before we go, guys, I want to give a big shout out to the members of Napalm. Thank you all so very much for your support. You are the sponsors of this channel. I could not do this without you. And if you're interested in becoming a member, please click the join button down below for more information and a list of perks. And a special shout out to my lords of Napalm, Rayco, Bounty Code, and Ray Cooper. Thank you for your highest tier membership.